Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another first impressions video, and today we're going to be taking a look at Völgarr the Viking. Yes, Völgarr the Viking. Holy crap. For starters, let me just start by saying that the footage you're watching is actually not live, so this is actually post-commentary, and I will explain why that is in just a couple of minutes. And you guys might be wondering, why did it take me so long to actually get to Völgarr the Viking? Well, to be completely honest, it didn't really take me that long at all. I actually tried contacting the developers as soon as I heard of it, as soon as I even saw the first couple of videos of it. But they never really got back to me, so I don't know what happened there, if they didn't like my channel, if they just didn't feel like getting back to me. I don't know. But basically, I tried getting to the developers of Völgarr the Viking, and I got absolutely no reply. And eventually, I actually asked Good Old Games, because I've met someone from Good Old Games while I was at Gamescom, and they actually provided me with a key for review purposes. So thank you very much, Good Old Games. You guys are awesome. And to the Völgarr the Viking developers, why didn't you get back to me? Jesus. Anyways, getting back to the game. So what is Völgarr the Viking all about? And I'm actually just thinking right now, you guys are probably watching footage, I'm just thinking right now in my head back to the couple of hours that I've played of the game. And Völgarr the Viking kind of strikes me almost as a Dark Souls in 2 dimensions. I mean, it's not really in the same vein, so to speak. It is a very hardcore platformer with some combat elements to it. And you guys think that Dark Souls and Demon Souls are punishing? That's just because you haven't played Völgarr the Viking. Now, a lot of this game is actually going to be about you guys recognizing patterns and analyzing the best way and most efficient way to do things. And that involves a lot of repetition. And I mean a lot of repetition, unless you're just a god at platformers and figuring out all the patterns of the enemies and all that stuff. Then you'll be fine. But if you're not a complete god at the mechanics of this game, it's going to involve a lot of repetition, a lot of practice, and it is definitely not going to be a game that is going to be for everyone. Now, this, however, is a good thing, because I've been saying it over and over that it's actually good that there are developers out there that aren't trying to cater to the masses, that are actually doing these niche markets that provide an actual challenge to players like myself, as well as others who are looking for that additional challenge, as opposed to the everyday game that we get these days. So the mechanics of the game are like so. There's how many items have I actually picked up? I've only played the first, I'm not even going to say 2 levels, I'm going to say the first 2 checkpoints, so to speak. So I haven't even cleared the first level. You guys will probably see a couple of boss fights as we progress through the video, but I haven't actually killed that boss yet. I've still been basically trying to get into the rhythm, because the whole game is about maintaining a certain rhythm. Also, depending on the on all the footage that I'm going to show you guys, will notice that on some of these run-throughs, I'm like doing amazingly well on the initial parts, because I'm just like familiarized with it. So I just do everything super fast. So a lot of the game, like I said, is about actually getting into a rhythm. And once you get into that rhythm, you will get what makes the game tick and why is the game so satisfying. Like the very first time I got out of the very first checkpoint and I saw the second checkpoint, I was like, yes! I was super excited. You get that feeling of achievement because the game is genuinely hard. So you're like, yeah, I made it to the checkpoint. God damn it, that's right. Now, I've also heard that the game does not allow you to save. I didn't really test this, but I don't think it does. So basically, you have to restart from scratch every single time. There isn't any progression or anything like that I could have identified. Basically, there are these chests spread out through the game. And the way it goes is I'm going to tell you all of the upgrades that you can get through those chests. And these upgrades are in order, as in if you don't have one, you're going to get the very first of the upgrades, and then it's going to slowly upgrade you all the way up into the last. So the very first upgrade is the wooden shield. Now, the wooden shield is a shield that actually breaks down once it takes, I believe, 2 hits. So you can block 2 hits with it, but that's it. There's no button to block, by the way. You just have to stand still, and the projectile or attack that you're blocking has to hit the shield exactly. It needs to hit exactly, like if it hits your legs or if it I think the head might be blocked. I've never gotten a headshot so far, so I'm not sure. But if it hits your legs, like beneath the shield, you're not going to be able to block it. So there's the wooden shield. After you get the wooden shield, if you pick up another chest, you're going to pick up the metal shield. And once you get the metal shield, that is the shield that has a hammer embroidered on it. Once you get that shield, you'll be able to charge up your spears. You can throw spears by pressing up and the attack button. You can attack by simply pressing the attack button, which on my PS3 controller it's square. On Xbox 360, I believe that is going to be button X. Not 100% sure. Either way, you can attack by simply pressing that button. I use a controller personally. I'm not sure what the keyboard controls are. So you can attack, you can throw spears, you can block, although that doesn't really necessitate a button. However, bear in mind, if you have the wooden shield, you're only going to be able to block 2 hits, tops. After that, you lose the shield. So, first upgrade, wooden shield. Second upgrade, metal shield. And when you get the metal shield, you're able to charge up your spears, which allows you to actually like penetrate and hit multiple targets, as well as just flat out do more damage with your spears. After that, you get the helmet. The helmet is basically just a... it's just an additional layer of protection, so when you get hit, you will lose the helmet. And after the helmet, you will get the flaming sword. The flaming sword basically extends the reach of your sword. It extends the speed, at least it seemed to me like it extended the speed at which your sword swings, as well as the... so it was the range, the speed of attack, and the damage. The damage it makes, it also makes more damage. So, yeah. So those are your upgrades. Now, if you go all the way to the flaming sword, then you get hit, you lose both the sword and the helmet. If you pick up the metal shield and you get hit, you lose both the metal shield and the wooden shield. So each time that you lose, you actually lose 2 things, unless you have the helmet and not the flaming sword. In that case, you just lose the helmet. So a lot of the game, like I said, is going to be about pattern recognition. Like, for instance, you guys might be watching this, and at some point you will notice that I usually tend to crouch down when I'm fighting against lizardmen. The reason for that is because the lizardmen can't actually hit you while you're crouching down. Now, the differing colors of the lizardmen actually signify the different amount of hits that they can take. So green lizardmen die in 1 hit. Blue lizardmen take 2 hits to die. Red lizardmen take 3 hits to die. And you have to take that into account at all times, because you also have to always know exactly where you're fighting and what can interfere with you fighting. Is there maybe one of those things that shoots arrows at you? Is there a bee in the vicinity? Is there something there that can interfere with your planning? You always have to basically be completely aware of your surroundings, because like I said, the game is terribly punishing. Like, imagine this: you've been playing a whole bunch of time and you got all the way to flaming sword, you get hit once, goodbye flaming sword, as well as goodbye the helmet, and then you get hit again, goodbye shields, and you're naked. And there's actually certain portions of the game that if you don't have shields, it is really, really hard. Also, in the second checkpoint, I've noticed that there is a branching path. There's also somewhat of a branching path in the first checkpoint. The first checkpoint, there's a zone where you can like go through a rock that's on the floor, and then you can pick up an additional chest if you so desire. You can skip that entirely and just go straight on with the level, because a lot of the times, at least me personally, I'm not even playing for score. I'm just playing for progressing and seeing what's ahead, which I found really interesting. Yeah, there's a couple of branching paths. On the second level, you will also notice, hopefully throughout the playthroughs that I'm showing you guys, you'll also notice that there's a branching path at some point where I'm going through this rope, and you can either go up or you can jump to the right, and if you jump to the right, you will have access to an additional chest. However, bear in mind, once you have the flaming sword, at least at the point of the game that I was in, once you have the flaming sword, you actually get nothing else in terms of upgrades. So if you go after chests, what you get is just additional items that give you more points, which is fine if you want to get as much points as you possibly can. It's definitely a valid strategy to go after all of the chests, but for me personally, a lot of the times I was just trying to get on with the level. Now, basically through the gameplay and through my description of the game, you guys should be able to figure out if this game is for you or not. In case you're wondering whether or not the game is challenging, yes, it is. really, really challenging. It's going to take, at least depending on the type of player that you are. Again, if you're really experienced at platforms, maybe it's not that challenging for you, but for me, I found it really, really challenging, and it was also really, really fun. I really enjoyed the mechanics of the game. It's just, unfortunately, I didn't have as much time as I would like with it because I have a whole bunch of other videos to make. But the little that I did play of it was a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it if it looks like you guys are going to, if it looks like something that you're going to enjoy. I highly recommend it because most likely you will enjoy it. It's just, bear in mind, like I said, if you're not an amazing platformer, it is going to take lots and lots of repetition, and it is very, very punishing. And a lot of times you will notice that basically I go all the way up to the boss, then I get to the boss, I get a little bit of practice on the boss, and then I die and I have to start all over from scratch. And not everyone is going to be okay with that stuff. I mean, not everyone is going to be like, oh man, I get to do all this stuff again, great. It's like, a lot of people do not like that kind of punishment, and they don't like the lack of checkpoints and that kind of stuff. Me personally, like I said, I'm having a blast with it. I do intend on playing more of it. Don't ask me for a playthrough, because even if I was to even consider making a playthrough of this game, it would definitely have to be post-commentary, because like, I needed to fully focus on what I was doing. Like, I thought about making live commentary on the game, but I was like, no, that's just not gonna work. I'm gonna be so goddamn frustrated. Instead, it's just a lot more comfortable for me to go ahead and just play it and do post commentary. So yeah, but it is definitely a big challenge. I really don't have a whole lot more to say. I mean, I've told you guys about the mechanics of the game, what you can expect from the game. You've seen hopefully plenty of footage by now. And I mean, if it looks like something that you'd like, then make sure to go ahead and get it. If it doesn't, well, that's really up to you. But me personally, like I said, looks pretty damn solid to me. It's just really, really hard. As per usual, leave me your comments, feedback, all that kinds of good stuff in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.
Ah!